And welcome.
Oh, that was so high
Whoa.
to Nightmare Nation.
Hello, and welcome.
I'm just so excited to talk to you guys today.
Happy to be
We are starting off on a really good note tonight, guys.
We're in a good mood.
Woo! We had a shot of tequila and my glasses are fogging.
What a great mood to be in to talk about such horrible, terrifying things.
Terrible things, all of the ghost stories.
Because that's what we do in this podcast. We bring you the horrible, haunted, murderous, sometimes really racially insensitive histories of haunted places around the world.
And the demons that control your soul.
If you're Roland Doe. Or what? Oh God, what's
Roland?
Roland Doe. Roland from our last
episode.
Last episode. Yep. My brain skipped into the future for a second.
Just ready to go to the next episode before we're done with this one.
That was her name.
Janet
from the Poltergeist Enfield haunting. I was trying to think of examples of demon-controlled people, and I failed, okay? I failed as a podcast host.
Do you know who always gets controlled by demons?
You know
this one.
What I do?
Zach Baggins!
I was going to say people who use Ouija boards, but...
I mean, that too. Roland.
Roland Doe. Whatever his actual name is.
He got haunted.
I'm Annie.
Hey, I'm Anna.
I don't think we've introduced ourselves in like 9 episodes.
I mean, we're almost into like 30 episodes now, so they should probably know who we are.
Seriously, but
if you don't get your shit together,
there are the people
and know us.
There are people who start a podcast with the most recent content and then go back to the beginning.
I suppose.
So I just feel like we need to say, if any of you are in doubt of who we are or what we do, we are best friends who talk about haunted places.
Best friends.
And we talk about scary movies way too much.
Yep.
We go down rabbit holes.
Yep.
Sometimes we sing.
Yep. We do everything.
We are a multi-talented group of individuals.
Yes.
And by group, I mean the two of us.
I was going to say, we're not a group.
Technically, what is a group? Like, how many people?
I feel like 3 or more
More
would
than
be a
3?
group,
Yeah, okay.
I feel.
Yeah.
Because 2 is a pair.
And 3 is like a few people.
And then 4 is a group.
A group.
So not 3.
Whatever.
Got it.
We're a talented pair of people.
Yeah, we are.
And we're going to talk about some scary shit today.
So many scary shits. We're not actually talking about shit tonight.
Some shits are legitimately scary. Sometimes
do you want me to tell you about one?
Let's not.
In college.
Is this the one where someone gave you money under your stall?
No!
Oh.
It was at like 12 o'clock at night and I had to pee and I go into our dorm stall, the middle stall. They literally had a softball-sized poop in the fucking toilet.
Just like a ball?
Yes!
Ew.
I'm like, how did that come out of your butthole?
How did that not rip your anus?
Exactly. It was fucking huge. And this is a girl's bathroom. I'm like,
what does that have to do with anything? Women can shit as big as men.
I know,
don't be sexist.
It's just, I have to with that.
I'm gonna cut this whole segment.
Please don't. It's hilarious.
Okay.
I'm so hot. All right, friends. So tonight,
on a sweeter topic. See what I did there?
We're not talking about ghosts. Annie, what are we talking about?
We're talking about some alien sightings and UFOs.
We're always on the same page when it comes to music. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
So, we're taking you to New Mexico.
To the town of Dulce.
Dulce. I don't think we've ever been to New Mexico yet.
I've been to Albuquerque in real life.
Oh, that's fun.
But not podcast-wise.
I've never been on that side of the
That's where I got my first
States.
tattoo. Fun fact.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know you got it there.
I did it when I was a camp counselor for a church camp, and I got sent into Albuquerque for a week to work at a church. And I decided I was going to get a tattoo, so I did it.
Oh, that's exciting.
Great story, huh?
Yeah. I really want another tattoo.
I want like 9 tattoos. But.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the Dulce Base in New Mexico. I honestly have never heard of this place before, which is super weird.
Yeah, this was a suggestion from...
I believe it was from Colin or
Thank
Dale.
God for Colin.
I'm pretty sure.
Your
One of my
coworkers are so legit.
They just keep coming to me with everything. They're like, Anna, check this place out. Check this place out. I'm like, oh thanks, guys.
Thanks, you care. It's so nice to know when people care.
Right? So, Dulce is a small little town in New Mexico and is the hub of the Jicarilla Apache Reservation, Indian Reservation.
There you go.
So Dulce Base has been the subject of a conspiracy theory claiming that it is a jointly operated human and alien underground facility that exists under Arculeta Mesa on the Colorado/New Mexican border.
Sweet.
Dun dun dun.
That's interesting that they are talking about it being jointly operated, because I feel like a lot of other like UFO conspiracy, like, I mean, I guess there's a lot of conspiracies about like the government concealing alien activity, but like working with them, like jointly.
I mean, I've heard of that with like Area 51, because with most stories that you hear, aliens have way advanced technology than we do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that they're helping the government with all of their fancy government fighter jets and projects, like what the fuck? It's a fighter jet. What is it called? It's a stealth fighter jet. I should know the name of it because Ben loves it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like this black jet that they use that's completely silent.
That's pretty cool.
It's like a stealthy black, like triangle looking thing. I can't remember what the fucking name of it is.
It's probably the stupid thing. It's probably the things that the people claim they saw in Skinwalker Ranch or whatever.
I mean, it could
They're
be.
like little teeny tiny. They call them like mini drones or whatever the fuck. I can't remember.
I'll show you a picture later.
Okay.
And yeah. But they're super cool.
So my question is, if we can go down a quick rabbit hole, why do aliens all have such advanced technology? I mean, I suppose in order to be able to travel through space to get to Earth, you have to have some level of like high technology, but we can go to other planets. So like, why? Is it just that they've been around longer? Like, why is it that aliens always like necessarily have more advanced technology than we do?
I don't know. They could have been around for longer, and maybe because I mean, if you think about it, yeah, we've been to other planets, but we can only go so fast.
That's true.
Whereas
we're
when
limited.
you see like actual UFOs, they go so fast, so that they're probably light years away, but they can get to it so fast, and they probably go to other universes because we're not obviously the only living specimens in this giant universe.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we're kind of constrained to our like immediate like solar system. We haven't really gone too far beyond that with people. That makes sense.
And a lot of it, I think a lot of UFOs and theories like this with the government involvement all happen like kind of around World War I and World War II.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like more around World War II when technology was advancing, bombs were advancing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I think it was an episode I just watched of Hangar 1. They were talking about how the Germans would use underground bunkers and stuff for building technology and doing that sort of thing. So I feel like that's where a lot of the conspiracies kind of come from.
Interesting.
And Russia too. There's
the freaking Russians.
There's one location, I can't remember what it's called, but it's this place where there's rocks in a big circle, and they're like giant boulders,
like Stonehenge.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just being silly, but okay.
No, it's pretty similar.
Cool.
Yeah, but like in the middle, it's like a little like pole something or another where it was said that the Russians were working with like a top scientist to create some sort of fancy flying object to go like super fast.
Oh,
I think I have to look it up, but it's been on a lot of UFO. This
project has been kind of fun because it sent me a little bit like looking up this incident in this place has kind of opened me up to like other crazy conspiracy theories. Which
God, I love conspiracy theories so much.
I don't believe in most of it, and some of it is like I could maybe see that, and a lot of it's like really what the hell. Like one of them. So I was listening to the episode that UFO hunters did on this location, and some of the comments on YouTube. One of them was like, "Oh, if you think this is crazy, look up the hole in the earth that formed in Antarctica. Like it's inhabited by a master race that has been dominating humanity since the dawn of time." And blah blah. I'm like, okay.
See, there are some conspiracy theories where I'm like, no, you're just being absolutely fucking stupid.
Well, like it's kind of a leap to say like there are unidentified flying objects that we're researching to a master race of like demons is living in a hole in the earth in Antarctica,
right,
and has been controlling our minds for all of humanity's existence. I'm like, dude,
I don't think so.
So I loved it because I'm just scrolling through the comments and like how many people just like fully buy into the stuff.
Oh,
I'm
God,
like,
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. But I mean, so there's a conspiracy theory Reddit thread that you
I
can go on.
love Reddit.
I freaking love it so much. But there are some conspiracy theories that I wholeheartedly believe in.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to do a whole nother episode on just like
Conspiracy theories!
Oh, and
yes!
I tend to be more on the skeptic side, so I'd love
yes.
to have a healthy dialogue
Oh,
about
let's do
the
it!
ones you believe in.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay.
I need to do so much research.
Okay, great.
This is gonna have to be like a couple episodes down the road so I can...
It can be like a series. We can do like little episodes in between full episodes of like Conspiracy Corner. Conspiracy Corner.
Anna and Annie.
I freaking love it. Okay.
That sounds perfect.
Stay tuned.
Let's do that.
Okay, back to Dulce.
So Dulce. So for many years, people have claimed to have seen UFOs. I should say unidentified flying objects. UFOs. Moving lights, cattle mutilations, and unexplained sights in the area. I don't know what that means.
It's very vague.
Very vague.
Unexplained things.
Sights, just...
I saw some stuff.
Okay. I saw things, but I don't know what they were. Like, that's dumb. Annie will
dumb.
Annie will talk about more of what she has to say. Obviously.
Yes, I will.
All right. Okay. So the first claims of an actual unidentified flying object activity arose by Paul Benowitz, who was a businessman. So in 1979, Benowitz was convinced and claimed that he was intercepting electronic communication from alien spacecrafts, and after further investigation was when he claims to have discovered the underground base in Dulce where the signals were coming from.
Wow. So I wonder... Wow.
All right.
So I just, I'm not Paul Benowitz. I don't know what he saw or what he heard or what evidence led him to believe that. That just seems like kind of a crazy acceleration of events. Like,
yes.
Oh, I heard a mysterious signal and then I found an underground base.
And then it's right here.
Here it is.
Dug it up.
It cover-ups aside, if you legitimately just went and found a base, you'd think more people would have more proof or would talk about it.
Right.
Maybe.
And with a lot of the articles and things that I read, they didn't go into specifics of how they found the base, how this was discovered, who actually discovered it. What?
So I have a really funny story. I'll get to it when I do my segment, but I have a funny story along those lines where it's just
Yep.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There are some things where I'm I don't know how much of this I actually believe.
Yeah.
But, so because of this supposed finding of the secret base, the story spread within the UFO community, and in 1987, ufologist John Lear claimed he had independent confirmation that the base exists.
Independent?
Again.
Someone else came and third party identified that it exists, or he independently?
He independently confirmed that the base exists.
Okay.
But then I went to look up, did John Lear claim to have found the base?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find whether or not he actually did. How do you claim to find this base? Even, sure, you're a ufologist, but...
Because the government covered it up.
Pretty much.
Yep.
So because of the popularity and hype going around about the base, the Weekly World News published an article that claimed, in quotes, diabolical invaders from another solar system have set up a secret underground base in the rugged mountains of New Mexico so they can Shanghai human guinea pigs for bizarre genetic experiments.
But didn't they say this was they were working with the government and the government was totally cool with that?
Supposedly. There's lots of theories around this place and what it was actually used for and what actually happened.
Yeah. I suppose they don't have to all be agreeing congruent. Congruent? Is that the right word?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Conspiracy theories, they can be they can conflict with one another.
I mean, that's what conspiracies are.
I'm just saying lots of words. I don't even know what I'm saying. Okay.
So then after the story was released, the Weekly World News stated that some of their quotes from the ufologist Leonard Springfield were in the article, but he later came out to say, in quotes, "I never read such a distortion of facts in my life." But to be fair, this world news bullshit is it's like a TMZ.
Tabloid?
Thank you.
Yep. Not necessarily credible.
No.
Yeah.
So, again, take everything we say with a grain of salt.
As always.
Always.
And forever.
Yep. So then, according to some conspiracy theorists, the Dulce Base is a 7-story compound used to house human-animal hybrids, human-alien hybrids, and they have advanced technologies. And some say that each level is its own, like, specialized thing. So some of them include genetic and mind control experiments and cryogenic storage. So I'm assuming that that's just, like
Han Solo!
Super cold storage.
Yeah.
Of
You don't know
people.
Star Wars, do you?
Nope.
Oh my god.
Okay.
No. They freeze one of the main characters in Star Wars in cryogenic sleep, cryogenic storage, whatever. They freeze him.
Okay.
And then he gets melted and comes back to life.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, in the UFO Hunters episode, they actually, like, drew out, like, floor plans for this supposed 7-story. And they did, like, 3D, like, renderings, like, models of, like, what the floor plans would have looked like. I'm like,
I don't think so. That's just you making up bullshit.
Yeah.
Like,
seriously.
come on.
Good
Lord.
I know.
So then these theories kind of seemed more of a reality when Philip Schneider, who was a former engineer and geologist that was employed by the government, he helped to build the secret underground base in 1979.
Oh, sure you did, Phil.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
This is where it gets a little fucking ridiculous, and it's more like a sci-fi movie, and I don't really know how much of this I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So I got most of my sources, I'm just saying now, from Wikipedia, Discovery.com. Oh, it was some NewMexico.com site. I'm sorry, I don't remember that one.
How dare you?
I know. And then I watched on Netflix, it's called Hangar 1, and the second episode goes over this base. And that's where I got...
Is that a show about UFOs, or is it about, like, airplane bases?
No, it's about UFOs.
Okay.
So this one was just about, like, underground bases, and it just happened to be the Dulce Base.
That's so handy that you happened to watch that this week while you were preparing for the episode.
And I just found it. I was like, oh, I wonder if this is it. And then it was. I was like, oh, man, this is so cool.
I wonder if it was fate.
It was. Such fate.
Or was the government intervening and placing it strategically in your Netflix account for you to see?
They're probably going to come after us after this episode.
They probably knew we were planning on doing it. They hacked our text messages and said, oh, shit.
They know everything.
They're
already looking at everything.
Feed them false information. I bet Hangar 1 isn't even a real show. It's full of fake information.
Fake news. Witch hunt. So, Philip had a high level of security clearance and knew most about what was going on with the thing being built underground.
The mysterious thing.
The mysterious thing. So, during his time working on the structure, there was a point when they were trying to drill into the earth, but their drill bits kept breaking because they were hitting something. So Phil decided he needed to go see what was going on and what they were hitting. I don't particularly know how he found this, where he entered through, if they're trying to drill, like from the picture it looked like they were drilling in from the side. So I'm like, I don't know how you actually found this.
So he was saying he was there helping build a top secret underground thing for, like, the U.S. government.
Yes.
And then while they were drilling, they found something else already existing underground.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Like they were hitting some sort of metal because their drill bits were breaking.
Okay.
Yep. So Phil decided he needed to go see what was going on. Then this is when he claimed to have walked into a giant man-made cavern, which some thought that it might have been a fallout shelter that was built during the Cold War era. And then, so as he started walking into the cavern is when he saw odd-looking creatures, and they were all coming towards him, so he started to shoot.
They were just, like, straight up, like, were hanging out in the cavern, and he just, like, bumped into them?
Yes.
Like, oops, excuse me, aliens.
Came out, and he just started shooting.
What?
Where this gun came from, where these creatures came from, if they're aliens or like people.
That's a great point. Why the hell would he have a gun if he's drilling for an underground, like, construction operation? Why would he be armed?
Exactly.
That makes no sense.
Exactly.
Phil, you're just full of shit.
It gets better.
Oh my god. I'm so excited.
It gets better. So, as he was killing them, more and more came out of different places, and he said that there must have been 30 to 40 of them. At this point, one of the aliens raised a weapon, or a laser, pointed it at him at his chest, and he said that his chest was ripped open and he lost a couple of fingers from it. But yet he survived. And then in the episode, he has 3 of his fingers missing, and then he has a giant scar going down his chest. Okay. But like, if your chest was ripped open, how the fuck did you survive?
Because aliens used their magical medical science to fix him.
I mean,
maybe.
I guess.
Or he got really freaking lucky and happened to, like, fall on his back and not bleed out. I don't know.
And then there was another article I read stating that there were over 60 people, and it said humans that died. So was he actually shooting at aliens, or was he shooting at people maybe dressed up in some sort of like masks and thought that they were aliens? And he
just an
started
underground cult. They're
like
just having like an alien cult party in the basement of
pretty
this
much.
place, and they're like, "Oh shit, we're just having a party."
So I don't know.
Because I read that too. I read that he said that this battleground, he discovered like this battleground. And there was a battle that happened there that resulted in the death of 60 humans.
Yes.
That's also what I read.
Yep.
So get your story straight, Phil.
So this is where it gets kind of interesting. So he remained silent for 15 years because of his contractual obligation with the government. Obviously,
of
it's
course.
secret.
Yep.
So he decided to come clean and talk about what happened because he didn't want to hold it in, and he thought that the people of the United States needed to know what the government was up to.
Of course. We deserve to know.
Yes.
Like 15 years later.
Right?
Yeah.
So then in 1995 was when he went out and talked about his story and what he experienced in Dulce. So then after coming out about the incident, he felt as though he was being targeted and someone was trying to kill him. One instant, he was driving and somehow his car flipped. I don't know like the full details of it. And then after further inspection of his car, he found that some of the bolts on his tire were cut off. But
sabotage!
If your bolts were cut off, how would your car roll? Like, I could see your tire falling off, unless you didn't have complete control of your car, and then you, like, just caravanned, and then it got caught, and then flipped you.
See, this is dangerous territory for me, because I know zero about how anything car-related works, and you're married to, like, a technician, mechanic, I almost said machineric, and that's not a word.
Yes!
So, you would know more about this than I do. I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, so I may have to ask him about this to see if it's even real.
Help!
Ben, help us!
Ben, help!
So then in 1996, only a year after speaking out about what happened, he was found dead in his apartment. The police informed either his girlfriend or wife, they told her that he suffered from a stroke, but she wanted to go into the room to see him and to just like see what actually happened, and the cops wouldn't let her go in. They wouldn't let her see the body. So she's like, okay, well, you're acting a little bit shady, so I want an autopsy of him. So in the autopsy, the actual cause of death was strangulation from a rubber catheter, and his death was deemed a suicide.
Catheter?
Yeah.
Why the hell? Like, did he have a catheter?
I don't think so.
What?
So that's a little shady.
That's interesting. Like, you say that because I was like, stroke. I wrote down that his death was ruled a suicide, but of course, you know, everyone thinks he was killed by the government. But then if he had a stroke, but then his actual cause of death was strangulation by, how the hell would they know it was a catheter? And not just like a rubber cord.
I think they found the catheter, maybe. I think
that's odd.
Yeah. So
suspicious.
Very suspicious.
I was about to say suspicious, and I completely forgot what the word was for suspicious, and then I said suspicious.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah, I'm like,
it happens on a day-to-day basis.
What's that word for something that seems unusual, but it doesn't feel right? It's suspicious.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's the history of this crazy base. Annie,
pretty cray.
Tell us.
So, of course, when you have crazy conspiracy theories about alien underground laboratories, you're going to have lots of UFO sightings and alien abductions and our favorite cattle mutilations.
Cattle mutilations. I read some of these stories and some of them are like, oh God, that's disgusting.
So I couldn't find a ton of details on like whose cattle got mutilated or what exactly details were, but there is one slightly graphic story about...
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yep, it's good stuff. So I got my information from coat.com, discovery.com, ABQ Journal, I'm assuming that's like Albuquerque Journal, Santa Fe New Mexican.com, and...
That was it!
There you go.
That was my source.
There it is.
Thank you.
And Tucson.com. So, since 1947, so this is before the rumors of the base were there, because it sounds like Paul Benowitz had originally started talking about things in like the 70s, you said?
Correct.
So,
yep.
So New Mexicans have been reporting hundreds of sightings and encounters with UFOs in the area. So residents of Dulce report seeing flying saucers, UFOs. So I don't really know how those are different, other than you may have seen a different object that wasn't shaped like a flying saucer. And the whole time I was reading this, I just kept thinking about that stupid freaking example of the person outside of the Walmart in Shakopee being like, whoa,
oh my
so
God, look at all those
crazy. Look
lights.
at the perfectly still circle. Oh
So
my
dumb.
God. And it's freaking the casino.
I'll have to see if I can find a picture of it so that other people...
I actually looked up the article because it was like, there's a bunch of like funny articles like Mystic Lake Lights claims yet another UFO truther. And like it's basically articles making fun of how stupid these people are. And like the respectable shows like UFO Hunters or no, it was like Sightings of the Paranormal. There was some show that got totally like fooled by it and didn't bother to like research the area.
Yeah, that's the one that I watched.
Yeah,
and it was
so
just
dumb.
terrible. No, oh, that's so cool. That's like the best crisp,
it's the best
like thing we've ever found. I'm like, yeah, no, it's just lights from a casino.
It's just freaking lights.
That's all it is. Sorry, guys.
And anyone in the area should know better. And
Yep.
So yeah, we'll have to find that link and share it because it's hilarious. But okay, so they've reported seeing flying saucers, UFOs, and fast lights that move back and forth in the sky, which immediately reminded me of the story you told me about Ben going outside early in the morning and seeing little lights zipping back and forth. And I was like, oh shit! Yeah, you saw that? Well, Ben
did.
Stupid Ben.
God, I just want to see it.
Yeah, so lights moving back and forth in the sky. So a lot of people also report photographing some of these objects. Of course, I couldn't find a ton of actual photographs. People are kind of nervous about sharing them. Like there was a couple people that said like, oh yeah, I have photographs, no problem. But they wanted to be kept completely anonymous and they didn't want to like even show the photographs because they were scared that the government was going to come hunt them down and kill them.
I mean, it makes sense.
Just
I
like
don't want to
Phil
do that
Schneider.
either. I'm slightly terrified about this episode just because government. But
because government. Hey,
it's fine.
If anyone in the government's listening to our podcast, would you please rate, review, and subscribe? Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bring a lot of followers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring them all.
I mean, we're just saying what other people have said. It's not
exactly.
like we are offering up unique information.
No, because we have no information. Because it's the first time I've ever heard about this base. So,
but if we turn up dead, like a week from now,
you guys know it was the government.
You know what happened?
They killed
it
us.
Was the government.
We didn't do it.
Never stop fighting.
Never stop it.
Justice for Nightmare Nation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so people have reported being able to capture some of these objects on camera, but they don't really want to share a lot of the photos. And then a lot of them have also claimed to see low-flying military helicopters in the area, which I don't see how that's overly like mysterious or unexplainable because there's an Air Force base nearby in Albuquerque.
You're going to have fucking airplanes going around from the military base.
Kirkland Air Force Base is like just outside of town, so I'm like,
God.
Yeah, it would make sense you'd see helicopters then? Maybe? I don't know. So a former police officer from Dulce named Tim Anderson claimed to have seen a UFO in the late 90s. So he said he saw an object that, quote, lit up the whole valley and just disappeared into the rocks. So he said he basically like just rubbed his eyes and asked himself like, wow, did I really just see that or did I just like hallucinate a UFO? And he also believes that Bigfoot resides either in town or nearby.
Oh my God, I read that.
Yep.
I was like, what? UFOs, Bigfoot, everything just roaming around New Mexico.
It's a crazy ass place. So you got all sorts. You got werewolves and you have the abominable snowman and yetis.
They're just getting everything over there.
Yep. It makes me think of in Game of Thrones when they go north of the wall and they have like giants and wargs and all the shit and all the like fantasy creatures and they're like, oh, it's all real. I'm like, yep, that's Dulce, New Mexico. Just the place where all the crazy shit hangs out. And so this guy thinks that he's been tracking Bigfoot.
Oh,
and he said, so he's quoted as saying, I do believe there is a mystical creature out there that nobody knows about. I'm like, well, you fucking know about it because you're talking about it right now. And you've reported to it to like 19 different newspaper articles. So someone knows about it because
someone's got some mental
possibly because he claims he's found 2 different Bigfoot prints that he made into casts. So like little casting molds of the footprints.
Or it's just a really big cat that you have wandering around in the mountains.
Or it's like any number of things that could have made a small divot in the ground. I don't know. I guess I haven't seen the casts myself, so I can't really judge, but like...
Come on.
Maybe Bigfoot is one of the
paw
aliens.
prints are pretty big.
My thought is that maybe if there are truly aliens in an underground laboratory, one of their experiments got loose or something and is wandering around. That's the only thing I can think of, and I'm not even saying I believe that because I don't. But...
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
Okay?
We're just... Everything's on the table right now. So Geraldine Julian, another resident of Dulce, says that she's been seeing UFOs and other strange activity since the 1960s. So she's quoted as saying, "It's not just a fairy tale. All the things are true. And I believe every last one of them too because I've seen it myself." So she had an incident where she herself saw a big spaceship, that's in quotes, big spaceship, hovering above her property, which is just outside of town. And she said the bottom part was flat, but there was a dome on top, and she said she saw movement coming from inside. So if that's true, that'd be really terrifying to see like little things moving around in a flying saucer.
Right, but that flying saucer has to be pretty freaking close to you to
see
little
movement.
movement.
Well, and
like,
so what the reason I kind of like doubt this too is because the idea of a flying saucer and like that being the shape of a UFO, that it's this disc with a dome on top, is so common in just like pop culture and the media. Like it just feels like that's kind of the universally acknowledged, like this is what a UFO should look like.
And this is what I saw.
And this is what I quote saw. But like, is that really like, you think that aliens would maybe like, it just seems odd to me that like that's what everyone reports quote seeing, and maybe maybe it's that common because that's what it actually is and I'm just being an ass, but like it feels to me like there would be some sort of different shape or like some sort of bizarre spaceship that
and
we can't
especially since they're supposed to be so technologically savage, that they should have like some super stealthy thing, not just like a flat disc and a dome.
Like, is a flat disc and a dome really going to be, like, capable of, like, launching you into space and letting you travel across freaking galaxies?
Right?
Like, is that even aerodynamic? Like, I don't even know.
Like, wouldn't just, like, a straight tube or something flat be more aerodynamic than having wind rush up and over and down?
Well, right. It seems strange to me.
Yes.
And I don't need to drain that. It seems a little convenient, if you ask me. So I also kind of looked into the Phil Schneider thing and thought it was interesting that there was a possible conspiracy that he was not actually, that he didn't actually commit suicide and was murdered, which of course, like that whole thing happening only kind of like furthered all of the hype and the craziness around everything. So,
and I feel like that happens a lot too when people work on government projects or secret projects or UFO projects, then a week later after coming off of it, they die.
Dun dun dun.
Government's killing people.
But also, isn't that kind of obvious? You'd think the government would realize that that looks really suspicious. Like,
but the government knows how to cover up everything because they're the government.
But they don't, because everyone notices this shit and then it causes a bunch of conspiracy theories.
Exactly, and that's what they want. They want the conspiracy theories so that people think others are crazy. But in reality, the government literally controls everything. But I could go down a whole rabbit hole about this
again
one.
We'll have conspiracy corner in a future episode. I just feel like if it truly was a cover-up, the government would be less stupid about it and not immediately go and mysteriously murder the person who started sharing details about their secret project. It just seems a little too obvious to me. Like, you'd think they would have done it more smartly. That's a word. You'd think they would have been smarter about it, but anyway. We'll move on from that. Okay.
Good idea.
In March of 2009, they held a conference in town, actually, called Dulce Base, Fact or Fiction.
Ooh.
That, guess what, roughly 100 UFO hunters attended.
Oh, they did
100 whole hunters.
Holy buckets. I didn't know there were so many UFO hunters.
Well, some of them were just enthusiasts. They weren't actually UFO hunters. Oh. So they had a small gathering in town. And one of the participants said he found a deep hole in a nearby mesa floor that had air spewing out of it, and he believed it to be an air vent for the underground base. So I don't know if he had further evidence that it was part of the base, or because there's a lot of reasons why air might spew out of the ground.
Yes.
There are naturally occurring like air vents in the earth.
Yep.
That happen. It doesn't necessarily mean that's proof of an underground like ventilation system. But that's just me.
And did that happen once or twice?
Yeah, not a lot of details on that one.
Okay.
This one's great. A massage therapist from Santa Fe also attended the conference. So she said she started going to these conferences around the country after a series of extremely vivid dreams that she believed to be like very much real experiences. So they weren't dreams then. So she
was abducted by aliens?
Basically. So she said she had one dream in particular where she was in her home when an unseen force began levitating her several feet off of the ground as though she were being abducted. She said it was so realistic down to like every single vivid detail in her home. She said including the like cat urine smell from the carpet, which I'm like, that's disgusting. Your carpet should not smell like
Get
cat
your
urine.
shit together and clean it up, please.
So she said it was so vivid and real that she believed it to be a real experience, which I have no doubt it was probably a very vivid, surreal thing. But like that to me sounds like what you can experience during sleep paralysis.
Like me.
Like Anna, I was gonna say you have these like vivid, dream-like experiences that seem real, but you wake up and you fucking know they're not real. Like a real white spider didn't crawl into
It didn't.
No.
And I mean, there are multiple times where I've woken up in the middle of the night thinking I see someone out of the corner of my eye, and I look over and no one's there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I literally had one the other night where I thought I saw a black mass outside my door.
Oh,
but I'm like,
stop.
nope, it's not there.
Good.
It's not actually there.
How do you know?
I mean, it totally could be.
Yeah.
I don't know, with the amount of shit that we talk about on here.
I know.
I could just
and we believe in a lot of it. That one to me just seems like you probably just had like it was either a very vivid dream or you had sleep paralysis or some other like weird waking sensation that made you feel like you were levitating.
Your brain does mysterious things.
It really does. I had actually a super weird, did I tell you about this?
Maybe, I don't know.
So there's a great page on Reddit that I look at every once in a while called like A Glitch in the Matrix. Where
I know this Reddit.
I love it so much.
So good.
Where people just talk about like really weird, crazy, and like not paranormal, but like unexplainable things that happen to them that they're like, this is a totally like weird thing that no one can explain. And I had one that I posted onto it, and then of course after I posted it, I'm like, this is probably just my brain being stupid. But I was putting away laundry. And I was folding a pair of leggings that I have that are like gray with like a white chunk on the like down the middle, and then they end in like a kind of purpley like lavender color at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the only pair of leggings I own anything like that. Like most of you know me, everything else I own is just black. Yeah. So it's like the only ones that I have with any color. It's like gray, white, violet. So I picked them up. I like vividly remember picking them up, folding them, putting them away in the drawer, and then going to grab my other pair of like favorite black leggings. And the gray ones always have a certain spot in my drawer. They always go in the bottom left corner under a different pair of leggings because I'm anal like that, and that's where they go.
Oh my Lanta.
We don't need to get into it. That's just where they go.
All right. My closet's color coordinated, so.
Well, so that's just the spot. Don't ask me why, but that's where they go. So I fold them, put them away in that spot. Then I go to grab a player. I go to grab a pair of black leggings that I like remembered seeing in my laundry pile, and when I pick them up, it's the gray ones. In my hands.
What?
And I'm like, what the hell? I literally just folded these. And I open my drawer and I go to look at where I had just put the gray ones away, and the black ones were there.
What?
In the spot where I normally put my gray ones. What? And the black ones never go there. The black ones go in a different part of the drawer because I'm insane. And I like literally sat there and was like staring at them like,
what the hell just
happened? And I was like, oh my God, this is a glitch in the Matrix. And then I'm like, no, my brain probably just like registered one of them incorrectly or something. But it was
so weird.
It was so weird because I like vividly remember folding the gray ones and putting them where the gray ones went. And then I went to pick up the black ones, and it was the gray ones in my hand, and the black ones were where the gray ones were supposed to go. And I was like, what the hell? Oh,
that's so weird.
It was weird.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't think I've ever had anything like that.
Yeah, that was the first and only time it's ever happened. And, like, it was crazy enough to me that I, like, told Anders about it and posted it on Reddit. That's how much it, like, weirded me out because I was like, oh, my God. But I'm pretty sure it was just my brain being dumb. But
you never know.
You never know. Okay. Anyway. So UFO researcher Greg Bishop also attended the conference in Dulce, and he said he believes that the military started the rumors of a base in Dulce on purpose to distract from the, quote, real secret operations happening at Kirtland Air Force Base, like I mentioned, is just outside of Albuquerque. So Bishop said that nearby residents of Albuquerque would frequently see bright lights racing through the night sky during the 80s. So he thinks that they had possibly started the rumors on purpose and like maybe like fed them to Paul Benowitz, or like possibly even Paul Benowitz was working for the government maybe.
Yeah, could have been.
To spread rumors on purpose. But Greg Bishop also believes that Dulce was the home base for a spacecraft due to reports of strange cattle mutilations nearby, and even claims that he's himself flown over a UFO crash site near Dulce, which has got to be total BS, because if there was a legitimate like UFO crashed into the ground and you like saw evidence of it,
something.
Like, unless everyone was real good at covering it up, like I don't know how that could possibly get swept under the rug.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
So I watched parts of the UFO Hunter episode, so I didn't watch the whole thing. There was a section in the middle where they interviewed Gabe Valdez, who was a former police trooper who documented a lot of the unexplained cattle mutilations. And this was so freaking weird and crazy, and I really am not sure what to think with this one. So he showed them pictures of this like fetus, I put it in quotes, fetus, that he found inside of a mutilated cow. So he basically found a cow and found it to be like, I don't know if it was like cut open when he found it or what, but he found this like fetus looking thing that he claimed like had eyes, and he was like showing pictures of it, and it's just this like weird furry bloody kind of lump that, and he says it looks like it's growing a human ear, which like does not look like that at all to me. And he claimed that this was like evidence that, to your point, they were doing experiments on like human animal or like alien animal hybrids using the cattle. So he claimed that they were essentially using the cows as like incubators for these little like hybrid experiment things that were growing inside of the cows, and then they would cut the cows open to get them out, which I'm like, holy balls, that is dark, like, and gross. And to me,
I mean, honestly, or it's just the government actually doing that and just doing experiments.
Yeah, like, well, so that was the other thing too, like whether or not it was aliens or just the government doing experiments or what, but like to me it just honestly looked like a genetic like deformity. Like it just could have been a malformed cow fetus. Like that happens in real, like naturally occurring like birth defects. It could have just been like a non-viable fetus of a cow.
Have you ever seen owls when they stand up, their hind legs?
When they're babies?
Yeah.
Do they look like freaking aliens?
They look like fucking aliens.
Yeah, I feel like we've had this conversation.
I'll find the video. I should post this too, but they look like aliens.
That's funny. Okay, so there was the mutilated cow thing. And then they also apparently, so they were pouring through like paperwork, right? And this is where they were going through like their layouts of the 7-story underground facility and looking at all this stuff. And they apparently discovered evidence of the U.S. having technology that could build trains that go 12 to 14,000 miles per hour.
Jesus.
So they claimed, I think it was, they said 1972, they found evidence, quote, evidence, don't know what that means, that the U.S. had technology to build trains capable of going 12 to 14,000 miles an hour, which is insane. That's like
real
faster than the speed of sound. There would be like underground sonic booms happening, like anytime the train moved, which makes no sense. And then they also said they found like patents from the U.S. government for thermal nuclear boring machines that were capable of melting rock to make tunnels.
Oh shit.
So apparently the fact that they quote apparently had the technology to make these like high-speed trains, and then they had patents for these like boring machines, was therefore irrefutable evidence that the government was constructing an underground secret lab.
Well, there was one article I read too that said that from the Dulce Base there's an underground tunnel to Area 51. Of
course, there is
also a tunnel to oh gosh, what was it called? It's like some national institute or something, like some hospital. Mm-hmm. Or no, it was a laboratory.
These people literally said, they're like, oh, I have no doubt there is a hidden labyrinth of underground tunnels across the world and blah, 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 underground like lava tubes. And I'm like, okay.
Lava tubes!
Okay, here's my favorite part of this whole episode. And so they're interviewing this local guy, and it may have actually been the guy I talked about earlier who said he found the holes in the ground. I'm not sure if it was the same person who went to the UFO conference and found like holes with air vents in the ground. So he said he found these holes, and they're talking to like the camera crew, and he refused to take them to them. And when the crew pressed him and was like, why not? He apparently said it wasn't his way.
What the fuck does that even mean?
He was just like, no, I'm not comfortable doing that. It's not my way. And I'm like, okay, you're full of shit, dude. Like, oh yeah, I found these holes. Can you?
But I'm not gonna actually show
you. Oh
no,
I can't tell you where they are. Nope, that's secret. It's not my way to do that. Like, what? You're dumb. You wanted to be on TV and
pretend that you had something.
Yeah.
God. Stupid
so those were the main ones.
Woo!
Woo!
So UFOs, guys.
Aliens.
I believe in some UFOs.
Yeah, of course.
Some people's claims are just absolutely ridiculous.
No, but you have to be kind of like head in the ground, like silly to think that there isn't some form of other life in this universe, which is constantly expanding. The universe has no end. Like, it does not end.
It's terrifying.
There's got to be another planet with life.
There's just so many universes out there and galaxies and planets. And
well, what really blows my mind is if you accept what science tells us, that the universe is ever expanding, and that means it's infinite, that means that if it truly is infinite, that out there in the world there is another exact planet Earth that is exactly the same as ours, except for like one blade of grass is different.
Yep.
And there are literally infinite worlds.
There's multiple Anna and Annies.
Oh, there's lots of Nightmare Nations. Lots of listening options.
It's like Fringe. There are 2 separate dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
I love that show so much.
It's so great. We
It's
should
so
rewatch
good.
it.
Oh my gosh,
I think
yes.
it's on Netflix.
Is it?
I think so.
Ooh,
Maybe
I
it's
don't know
Hulu.
if it is.
I don't know. I'll have to check.
Ooh. I have like season 1 and 2 and like 5.
I think I borrowed them from you, I think is how I watched it. Maybe not.
I don't think they're open.
Maybe not then. I made that up. All right. Guys, if you've seen a UFO like Ben, send in your stories.
I want to hear it.
We want to know. NightmareNation19@gmail.com, or check us out on the Facebook. Nightmare_Nation19.
Or you can hit us up on the Instagram at nightmare.nation19. Yep, that's it.
If you have suggestions on places you'd like to hear covered, let us know. Send us a note. Make sure you subscribe and leave a review if you like us. If you don't, you can also leave a review, but we might not be happy about it.
Yeah.
Don't be rude.
Even though you guys like us, because we're friggin' hilarious.
Love us. We're so funny.
We're the coolest podcast ever.
Yeah.
Yep. So, until then, friends.
Don't get probed.
Don't use an Ouija board.
Yep. And don't get abducted by aliens.
Don't have seances.
Do record any UFOs you see.
Yes.
And send your pictures.
Send them to us so we can post them on the social media.
Yep.
That'd be cool.
I think that's it.
That's all we got for you, friends.
All right. Stay safe.
Okay, bye.
Bye.